Oh. Ah. All right. So, um, so I took a bit of a small break. I was hungry. It was lunchtime. So we took a little break from the assembly. I gotta say it's kind of funky. Um, okay, so I'm kind of, I want to say I'm about like 80% done with the build of the 3D printer. It was about 4 hours to get to this point right here. Everything goes together real easy as far as like the hardware matching with all the pieces. Um, it's an easy build to do, but of course my complaint for the first 4 hours was that the instructions are really really difficult, and I'll kind of show you a little bit of what I'm dealing with. Let me get to the instructions here real quick. So there's a PDF. Let's see. Okay, so there is, and pardon the crappy camera work, but I don't have the camera on a stand. But these are the instructions that I'm dealing with. There's not much as far as dialogue as to what goes where, how to assemble things. It's just kind of like, here, grab this, do this, add that. As a matter of fact, when I was putting in the belt, that's the only instruction I was given there. Attention belt. Basically, a little warning as to how much belt came in the kit. So, as I go through, there's, a couple things here and there. But like, for instance, this is the assembly for the fan on the extruder. No instructions. Uh, you know, before assembly, after assembly, and put that together. So the instructions are very rudimentary. They're based on images and stuff like that. Um, very very difficult to follow because there's no real like written instructions. I would have preferred, step one, add this to that, and it should look like this, and stuff like that. A little bit more, a little bit better instructions. But being that the printer comes from China, uh, there's a language barrier, and so of course you're gonna run into those kinds of issues. But that's where blah 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 blah. Come here.
That's payback for every time you go to the drive-thru and you do that in the back.
And I do that, and I ruin your order. So that was my lovely wife. She wanted to tease me a little bit on the live stream, and she succeeded. She did a good job. But yeah, if anything, it's the printer is extremely easy to build. There's not much to it. Very easy to understand, even if it's the first time you build something, even if it's the first time you're dealing with 3D printers or anything like that. It's very straightforward. All the pieces fit a certain way, but the instructions is what's really dicey. And of course, I've heard a lot of people talking about that in certain communities. I've seen a lot of videos where it's like, okay, this is a horrible instructions. Steps bounce around from from all over the place, especially this part that I'm about to show you here. So this right here is the belt assembly for the for the X axis, and inside here this is the carriage for the extruder. So they tell you, put the fan in, do all of this stuff, put the extruder inside here, and when you're done with that, add these two screws for the belt. Well, in order to do that, and I want to see if it'll focus a little bit, but it's picking up my artwork in the back. But basically, to put in those two screws, you have to take the extruder out. So it's, you know, it's a lot of that sort of stuff happening. Like, you assemble something, you think you can move on to the next step, and then when you get to that step, you have to undo what you previously did, and then add that step, and then go back and add that sort of stuff. So that's the kind of things that I'm dealing with. If if I if I went with a different set of instructions, I'm pretty sure the build would go a lot faster. I am taking my time and kind of seeing how everything's going to be routed as far as cables go, but we're close to the point to where we could start putting in the electronics and start wiring the power supply and all that good stuff. And like I mentioned, I do have a different power supply. I do have MOSFETs. I do have additional parts that I can start doing modifications to this particular printer. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and build it as it came in the package with its original power supply, and just kind of run it through its paces and see if I get, you know, anything printed, and then go from there. So yeah, like I said, 4 hours got me to this point right here. So of course we have the hotbed right here installed the way that it's instructed to do so. I did not turn this, I did not remove this and solder directly onto the bed. There's the motor for the bed. Of course, there's some wire management holes that are in the printer. And here is where the LCD screen is going to go. So there's a couple of things here and there. In order to get this belt to run properly through this motor here, I had to get the motor head, flip it upside down, or flip it, you know, flip it the other way around, and then it stopped that belt from twisting up. It stopped the belt from twisting up in there. And as you can see, there is like zero tension as opposed to this one. This belt has a lot of tension. This one does not. I had to add these zip ties to kind of set up this crazy system. I know that there's a mod for that, which I'll be printing out as well. But we're pretty much there. We're pretty much at the point where we're going to start putting in the electronics and see how this baby goes. So I'm going to go ahead and set this back up on my tripod so that we can continue doing that. And so far, you know, you've had an aerial view. Unfortunately, just due to the spaces that I have, that's what we got to deal with for the moment. I know that when I took a break, some of the first video, I guess, disappeared or something. I don't know, but something happened to the first half. But we're gonna keep going, and then of course, once it's assembled, I'm gonna do a better video kind of explaining everything that's going on. But I just wanted to take a little break, and then move forward from there. So what I'm doing now is I'm just removing the excess pieces of zip ties very carefully, not to damage any components as I do it. And then of course we're going to keep going with the build. We're going to continue on with the build. This is all going to be changed out later on. I'm going to do a different system because I'm not entirely happy with that at all. But for, you know, it is what it is. It is a cheap printer. And you know, that's what you're dealing with. So overall, I'm not just getting a couple cutting blades here. Overall, you know, I'm not upset. I'm not upset at all. Could things be better? Sure. And I think that's the reason why there's so much support in the forums and stuff like that with this particular printer, because that's not gonna with this particular printer, because I mean it is cheap. You could do a lot of modifications to it. You could do all kinds of stuff to this printer, and you know, so on and so forth. So I'm taking my chances. I'm gonna see how it goes. So far so good. Like I said, my only complaint is of course the instructions. So all right, moving on. That whole belt assembly is done. Again, I'm not too crazy about how all that turned out, but we're gonna keep going. So if you just joined in, you missed 4 hours of me assembling the printer so far. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. So one of the things I wanted to do was to work on the extruder. Now I'm starting to experience the weight of the printer. Alright, so the extruder cables are going this way. There's a little fan right here, or blower. This is the extruder, and they had me add this little fan and heatsink, but you know, it's kind of loose and hokey, and I'm not too thrilled about that. But I think I want to run this cable a different way. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe I could just hide it inside this housing here. But I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. I was going to turn the orientation of the fan, but I'll leave it as is for now. I just think that it'll get in the way of that extruder, but we'll see. So this is going back in, and hopefully I'll have room. Yeah, see? Okay, so I do want to change that. Let's change that. Why not? So there's certain things that you have to do. You have to take certain liberties when it comes to this build, to kind of make things happen. I don't know if these are the original screws from the bottom. I don't know if they go here or not, or if it's gonna make a difference. I don't know. I don't know if I'm screwing this up by having this here, but I really don't like the way that just kind of hangs there like that. I don't know. It seems a bit strange to me. So I added these screws on the top that originally came attached here. The instructions said to take these off the bottom and add longer ones, and that basically supports the fan and the heatsink on the fan. So I just want to change the orientation of this fan as far as cables go, so it runs on the top or the side rather. There's a giant screw here, and I want to revisit this because I don't see how they would have parts like this just kind of flapping around. It seemed a little odd to me. Could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe in some grand design it's supposed to be that way. I don't know. All right, so there's the cage for that. This is the heat sink that was provided to me. Here's the extruder. Don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But basically, this controls the extrusion, or the amount of extrusion that goes through here. Let me put it back the way it was. Alright. So let's see. I should add some washers that came along with it. So that's gonna go here. Heatsink and then the fan on top of that. So let's see. What do I want? What do I want? I'm gonna put this here. And then I want to put a washer here. And here. I don't know if this is going to make a difference or not, but I kind of feel like I would be doing something to stop the amount of friction going through there. So, or sorry, not friction, but like to kind of stop the movement of that going through. So this fan, yeah, that'll run on top. So I want to go ahead and do this. All right, so let me add a washer here. Yeah, that's good. And then a washer there. So one back here. Between the fan and the heatsink. There's the heatsink. Well, I guess that one doesn't matter. So behind the heatsink. There we go. Into this here. And into the extruder. Oh, I forgot. Forgot that. So we gotta do it, undo it again. Alright, here we go. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. Alright, there we go. We have that. We have that. And alright. There we go. Okay, so I changed the orientation of the fan just like I wanted to. There is one there. Where's the other screw? Here it is. So we're gonna go one in here. Get these out of the way. Raise that up a little bit and there it goes. Alright. So if I put all this together with just these two screws, let me put in this spring. Very important. All right, there's the spring to release that. Now if I just put this together, I'll show you what I mean, how it's just loose on the top, and I don't know if that's okay. I just don't know if that's all right or not. So there it is. And see how it has that movement, which I don't know. To me, that's just kind of really weird. But we're going to go with it. We're going to let it go. So now I changed the orientation of how this cable goes. And it's all flowing the same way as the extruder. There we go. And that kind of helps us out a little bit, I would assume so, with cable management. I don't know. But this now has to go in, and it gets attached with this right here. And another thing that's odd is that there's just this one screw here. So this whole housing just kind of moves around. Or this, you know, this particular piece just kind of moves around in there. I could see where right there the belt screw is kind of messing with this. So I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Alright, that's a different size screw. Okay, so I see what's happening. I need to take this out for a minute and then change that screw out because it's slightly longer M3. So it's just things like this that I've been running into that kind of have slowed down the process a bit. But the thing is, I'm afraid that if I don't take care of these things now, they're gonna become gremlins later on. So I rather take care of it now. So we'll take that out for a minute. Take the extruder out again. Yeah, okay, so I can see where the problem is right there. This screw is way long. So we're gonna replace this one. Alright, so let me turn the printer around. And I'm gonna replace this right here. Alright. Take this out. And get a different M3. So these are M318, and I used the wrong one. All right, so that is the same size. Let's try a 3812. All right, so a 3812 will do the trick. And that gets a bolt. All right, and it's going back in. Stand up for this operation. Alright, that's a lot better. That's going to stop That's going to help with the assembly of the extruder there. Okay, so interesting enough, I just gotta pull it back some. Pull it back. So it's a lot of little adjustments like this that that need to happen to get all this running right. I'm still a little concerned with the tension of this particular belt, but I just don't know what else to do with it. I attached it the way that it said in the instructions, and we're just gonna have to go with that for now. Alright, cool. Back to this piece. Alright, it's fitting nice and snug there. Let me put this one back. Okay. That one's all good there. But I do notice that it's like sliding back and forth, kind of moving this way. Don't know how I feel about that. But we'll have to go with it. We'll have to go with it for now. Okay, there we go. A little bit of clean house. Before we move on, okay. Actually, I will be ordering. I'm gonna order another roll of this stuff here. This belt. All right. So now that we have that done, looks like it wants to assembly step 25 is the LCD 2004 screen. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in now. And it wants M330 screws. M330. Which are these right here. So we have that. Got all these crazy little washers. The instructions don't indicate where to put washers. So for the moment, I did not put any. I'm putting all the empty bags over there. So yeah, now we're gonna get to the screen assembly. So I'll try to put that in the camera view. The extruder is in, the fan is in, the blower is in. Alright, so little blower system is in. These cables are all running the same way, so we'll see how we handle that cable management when we get there. Here's the screen. And so we're going to be using the M30s, the M3s, and they're supposed to be like these little plastic pieces, which I saw earlier. And I kept them in the bag. Like I said, I want to do a little bit of house cleaning just to make sure I haven't lost anything yet. Okay, it looks like it's going to require these right here. So there should be 4 filler washer, which is M37. There should be 4 of those. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are there. And let's go for it. So in the unboxing, of course, I showed this. We're gonna open it. And there she is. All right. So it's kind of it's indicating that the spacers are going to go right in there, along with the A3 screws. So let's see. The A330s are kind of long for this, which is kind of weird. It's a really long screw for that particular build. Okay, so the piece they did not tell me about is this one here, which goes in the back to protect this. So I'm guessing the spacers go in between these two pieces here. All right. And the ribbon cable is getting a little tricky. All right. Okay. let's go ahead and put the second one in. All right, simplify things. One pin. So it's asking for 4 of these. Okay, those are the ones that fit there. The instructions don't really indicate where the spacers go. So I'm assuming it goes in between that. So let's take a look and see. I'm guessing it goes something like that. We'll have to see if in time I am correct. Alright, so we have that. Let's see. Spacer here. And the last screw. All right. If I tighten this up anymore, it starts bending. It starts bending that chip. So I don't want to do that. So I wonder if perhaps the spacers go here. So I'm going to go ahead and undo this and try that to where the screen will be a little bit recessed, but at least it's not bending that chip. So I think I have the spacer in the wrong location. Again, the instructions do not indicate where those spacers go, but I'm assuming that's where they go. It just it makes more sense that way. An M330 screw is also very large back here, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. I feel a lot better with that. Yeah. All right. And there's the last one. Okay, now I could bring this guy back. Cable ribbon. And we could tighten these up. All right, cool. So next step is power. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so now we can put this to the side for until we have the power supply built. So let's go ahead and do that. The instructions are a little bit odd, which is a little bit concerning to me, dealing that we're, considering that we're working with power. There's the power supply. Of course, there's no fan. But what's discerning to me is that the instructions say, attention, this is the wiring diagram of power supply. 1, 2, 3 separately represent the line of fire. The line of fire. So here's our cables. And I'm going to go ahead and follow the diagram for that. A little bit nervous. Just a little bit. So you have brown, yellow, and blue. And we're going to go ahead and wire that in now. So brown is first. Brown goes on 1, 2, and 3. that, and that's pretty much all you get right there. I don't know how that's gonna work. We'll go with it as default. I would have loved to have some kind of connector here. So we're just gonna go with it, see what happens. I don't know if this is gonna give a good contact, so I'm thinking of wrapping it around just a little bit. Alright, brown is in. Next is blue. Hello.
Hello. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm doing draws me a demo.
Yeah.
And I needed to borrow your circle tool.
My what?
Circle tool.
My circle template?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so here is the blue cable. This is the reason why I bought all the connectors that I bought, because this is rather hokey. But I just wanna build it the way that it comes, straight from the package, so you can understand what you're dealing with. I will be changing all these connectors out, and I'll be using my power supply that I purchased online. I'm not going to be using this one, but for this, purpose, we will be using this one. Last cable to go in is the yellow one. Just want to make sure I have my diagram correct. It is brown, blue, yellow, and then black from the COM, red from plus V1, plus V. So nothing, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be basically the COM cable coming back, and then 6, 7, and 8 could be used for positive, and it's marked right on here too. So you have COM, 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 COM. So any of these will do. This is your line in for your AC right there. So power supply cable is attached. To avoid danger, please ensure that the installation is correct. The power supply goes attached. Let's see. Okay, so it goes attached on this side here, which is good because it's the closest one to me, and you guys can see that. So just want to see where it's going to go attached. So it says to use the M312s. M312. $20, $10, $25. Okay, right here, these are the 12s. It says to use 3 12s. And it should go attached to the side. It's saying it goes attached to here. I just don't. I don't see. Oh, okay. All right. So maybe. Oh, okay. So they screw in by the back. Got it. All right. So let's turn this. I was wondering how we would attach these. All right. There's one. There should be two other ones. Let me make sure. Let me make sure where these are. Okay, these don't line up. That one does, and there we go. Okay, and then the last one should line up right up here. All right. Now we're good. Okay, power supply is in. Now we're going to put the motherboard in. And looks like that's going to go on this side here. May go here. Motherboard is asking for M3, M3-15, which are the spacers, and then M330 screws with the M3 nuts. So let's go ahead and look for that. Here are the spacers. M330s right there, and these right here. All right. No real diagrams, just computer generated imagery. So we're gonna go, we're gonna go with it. I'm assuming it goes right here. I think these spacers are the ones that go on the screen, but we'll see. she goes. All right. And this part helps if you have tiny hands. If you don't, then you're screwed. Alright, again, I'm being like real careful not to over tighten these screws and damage boards and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of snugly putting them in. Snug. Alright, there's the motherboard. And of course, now it is talking about wiring. Please connect the electronic wires to each component correspondingly. Okay, so let's see. It seems to think we're confident enough to do this. All right. Let's see. So we have LCD screen. Kind of hiding everything behind the board, but I'm going to run into problems there. So let's go out this way. All right, and then we can hide that back here. Perhaps snake it a little bit more. And of course, cable management is all up to you, how you want to do it. For right now, I'm kind of letting it sit where it does. Okay, so we have along here, the first one is X motor. So here's X motor. And we're going to run that. We'll run it through here. Let's see. Oh, X stop. I have the wrong one. So it's facing down. X stop is the first one. All right, X stop, Y stop. Alright, there we have it. X, Y, and Z. That's the fan. Heat bed. Okay, this one is bed thermistor. Hot bed thermistor. Okay, so that goes here. We have that. I don't see. Am I going nuts? I don't see the Z. This is X, Y. And I don't see the Z motor. I'm assuming it's here. Z2, Z1. Alright, so let's try these. Cables, cables, cables. You can see where cable management will be will be a problem. Okay, so I have Z1. Hello, my baby.
Hello. How's it going?
Wiring.
Oh gosh. Should I get the fire extinguisher?
Yes, you should totally get the fire extinguisher. Alright, so that's why. Yep. Scoop by. Okay, so this is Z2. So Z2 is going to connect down there. Yes, get the fire extinguisher.
Kind of scary, babe.
Life is scary, sweetie.
Good thing we have
Insurance?
insurance.
Oh yeah, we're good. Got everything. We got insurance, my love. When I plug this in and die, you'll have everything.
Hey, don't even joke about that. It's not funny.
Okay, Z stop. I was looking everywhere for the Z stop and it was right in front of me. Okay, Z2, which is a long ass cable, is going over here. Gotta turn this. Okay, so there's Z2. And for now, it's just running out everywhere. whatever. So Z2, where does that go? Z2 motor. How am I looking at this? Okay, these are this way, so it's turned. Uh-oh. Okay, so. It's no good. Okay, so that is extruder Z1 or Z2. Z1. There's Z1, and that one connects there. Okay, Z, Y, and X motor. This board is sideways. So if I turn this sideways, actually, let me make my life easy. Let me take a screenshot of this and open it in Photoshop and rotate it so it matches what I'm looking at. Because it's sideways. Oh yeah! Hope you're enjoying the hangout so far. Alright, so to ask you a question.
Are you making fun of me and my musical choices?
Yes!
Well, that means you don't get dinner tonight.
Oh! I would never make fun of you, my baby.
Yeah, right. You do it all the time.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No.
But it's out of love, right? Excuse me again.
Oi!
Sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome, baby. Sorry I'm in the way. I'll clean up soon.
Okay, no worries.
After this, I'll be certified in building crap in China. Nah, I'll tell you honestly, it hasn't been bad at all. Okay, so I changed the orientation of the board to in Photoshop to match what I'm looking at. So everything is sideways. So I just want to double check I have everything correct. Okay, so yeah, so this is X motor. This is X motor. This is Z motor. Z motor. Okay, so extruder is here. Extruder is the first one. Okay. Error. Okay. We're gonna hang on to that. So there's the got the USB SD card. The first one is the extruder motor. Second one is Z. Okay, so I have this wrong. There we go. Z. Right there. Z, and then the next one is, I got Z, Z, Y. So Y motor is next. What do I have here? What's this? Y motor. Okay, so Y is here. And that would put me here. To the Y motor. Okay. So Y motor there, and then X motor here, which is right up here. Okay, so all the motors are in. I just want to double check. These stops real quick. So the first one is X, the second one is Y, the third one is Z. Hotbed and extruder thermistor. So extruder thermistor. Extruder thermistor, I'm assuming, is E. No, so that would go here. Okay, extruder motor. So there we have that. Okay, then we have, don't know what these are. There's E and T. I'm guessing go here. Is that right? Yeah, extruder thermistor. Okay, so there's the thermistor. And I don't know what these orange cables are just yet. This is Z2. Alright, we'll go with that. Z2 fell out. Okay, so those are in. This is the hotbed. Let's see, so the hotbed, positive, goes to the first one. Okay. All right, so we have that. Okay, that's done. Extrude. Ah, I see. Okay, so these cables go in there. They go in this little adapter here. Okay, so I would imagine I have to trim these somehow. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So these go in here like this. Alright, that gets plugged in there. Power supply. So power supply. Okay, so power supply, we have black and red. Let's go ahead and get those wired in. Red, positive, and negative. Okay. And now let me go back. Let's go back here. So extruder, hotbed, we got those. Okay. Alright, just want to make sure that's correct with the extruder bed. So let me just reference something real fast. Alright, let me see. Alright, so because it's not indicating to me where the negative cable for the hotbed goes. So I'm double checking online to make sure. Making sure it goes connected where it needs to go. Okay. All right. We got it. We got it. Okay, so this goes to the power supply. And I believe that's it. And what we're going to do is, I'm not going to plug this in directly. Oh, wait. I forgot. Forgot these two. So what do I have? Blower fan. So this is blower fan 1. Let's see where that goes. Okay, so blower fan is the second one. It's the one on the inside. Okay. I believe I have everything pretty much ready. But I'm gonna be smart when I fire this thing up and avoid electrical shock by just plugging it into, because there's no switch for it. I mean, the minute you plug it in, it's going. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug it into a power strip that has a switch. So in case anything goes wrong, I can kill the power instantly. I can kill it that way and not risk injury. So the only thing left to do is to plug these in. There's a whole nest. There's a whole nest of wires here that we're gonna hopefully be addressing soon. But I want to kind of see if I built everything correctly and everything's right. So so yeah, I'm gonna plug this in. This is the last of it, and then we're gonna run it and see what we get. But for the most part, the printer is assembled. It is ready to go with this giant mess of cables. The giant mess of cables everywhere. Okay, so going back to this, of course. Yeah, there we go. So black is on 5 and red is on 7. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Red on 7. Just real quick. Elevate it just enough for me to see what I'm doing. So we've got 9, 8, 7. 7, of course, is red. And 5 is black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is right there. Right there. We are almost there, guys. It's about about 5 hours. 5, 6 hours. Well, let me see where I'm at. Yeah, about 5.5 hours to build my 3D printer, and I got a whole lot of screws left over. Yeah, okay. Let's give this a go. Before I do, like I said, I want to get a power strip so I don't blow anything up. All right. All right, I gotta take a quick break. I'll be right back.